Okay, I dús bar is mis orsan hionan agus bé mis mar chahirirlach an chuid seo den Ardeis. Cuir mi tús leis an sesiún seo bé Joanne MacDonald I Jennifer an sesiún oscailta dún an sin bé íchain teir gin bé Bernice agus Maura ag leirú ball an sin bé príomh cainteir Éirígí gin agus an sin bé leirgus closarach an bléin seochuí hart. Cuir mi tús is le Joanne MacDonald.
Firstly, I'd welcome our two speakers. We'll move first with Maura Harrington. I don't think Maura needs any introduction or the campaign that she and us and Éirígí are involved in. It's the Shell to Sea campaign. So Maura will just talk us through now the state of the campaign today and I suppose future actions, particularly over the next kind of 3 months.
Right, Jeeve, and thank you for inviting me here. Right, I come from North Mayo, which many of you here are familiar with. I have no intention of filling in the background because that's well known to everybody here. What counts is the here and now and this coming summer. Personally, I have written, I would say, thousands upon thousands of words, and I've spoken the same number. But as of now, I speak not just for myself, but for the people in North Mayo, the cohort of whom are saying anybody who comes to North Mayo comes on their terms and they're welcome. There are people down there who have seen the past and do not want their future or their children's future to be what was to be imposed upon them. Just to fill you in briefly on where we are at the moment, we have essentially a private army being operated by Shell. That's IRMS Security, one of whose owners is James Farrell, who's a former Free State Army Ranger. Those people are not nice people. We talked about it last year, we complained about it. One local man made a complaint to the cops about it and absolutely nothing happened. Now we have seen what subsequently happened because Glengad was the only place where Michael Dwyer could have been recruited to end up in Bolivia. There is no other way and no other place that that man could have got himself from Ireland to Bolivia and back in a box. There's another joint strategy evolved over the past couple of months by Shell and their cohorts in government. It first became apparent at the time the two Eamons, Ryan and O'Keefe, set up what we call their Funny Forum. That was in December of last year. And at that, they were anxious to lay emphasis on everything happening within the law. Now, what has become clearer since is the government of this sorry state at the moment, in collusion with Shell, has come up with the strategy of putting it up to us, the local people, or anybody in the country, who has any worry about the consents which Shell claim to have and which Eamon Ryan twitters on about, to go into the courts to challenge those consents. Now, as all of us here know, it would take at least 100 grand to initiate any proceedings in the High Court. And it's hypocrisy at its highest for government ministers to have the gall to put it up to what's supposed to be their own people, to hide themselves off to the High Court and from there to the Supreme Court and the European courts. While at the same time Shell is being allowed to act with impunity. And that is, in the real meaning of the word, they can get away with anything they want to get away with. And the only thing that's standing between them and the complete subversion of what passes for government in this country is ourselves and those who stand with us. Yesterday evening, when I passed by Glengad, I saw one of the IRMS ribs anchored just out from the site at Glengad. There's another one at Ballyglass. So given the publicity on the use of 3/8 of the Navy last year, it now appears that the state has quite simply handed over our seas and the patrolling of them to an arm of Shell's private army. Now, everybody in this room would have heard enough detrimental comment on the running of private armies within these borders for quite some years past. But it's all right for Shell to have their private army in North Mayo. And it's up to us to do something about it. And I will finish now by repeating what I said, that those of us in North Mayo who have spoken our enough and written our enough are not going to engage in any more of that, and there is a sufficient number of us who are determined on direct action to stop this, and we will welcome anybody and everybody who comes to help us. And this summer, I do believe, will be a defining feature. I mean, what worked last year was a combination of Pat O'Donnell and the other fishermen who didn't take the shilling doing what they're entitled to do at sea. Those who came to Rossport Solidarity Camp, who disrupted 3 Navy ships and the biggest pipe-laying vessel in the world, and what John Egan called the Corrib Armada, in a series of Toys R Us, rubber dragons and duckies and the rest of us, and myself on hunger strike at the gates at Glengad, and the local people who stood behind me, and the efforts of everybody who worked on our behalf at the time. So what will work down at us is people. And because we're sparsely populated in the first place, we may be small in number, but we have held this for the past 10 years, and we intend to do anything and whatever it takes to, first of all, get rid of Shell from where they are, and then, in the process, reclaim what is rightfully ours. And nobody needs reminding that Mayo was the county in which the Land League was founded. And it's now back to Mayo again to reclaim our natural resources. And we will welcome help of any kind from whatever quarter. Good evening, Madly.
Thanks, Maura, for that. And I suppose everyone knows here, Éirígí has been very involved with the Shell to Sea campaign for a number of years, so we extend our solidarity to that campaign.
Thank you. And did I have the manners? Sorry. Did I have the manners to say thank you to everybody in Éirígí? Sorry if I didn't.